Everybody knows who James Harden is. From his controversial step back to his constant playoff folds, James Harden has become one of the best but most criticized players in today's NBA. But before he became the Harden that we all know today, he was just a solid bench player. So how did he become one of the best players in the NBA, and where exactly did this switch flip? Well, that's what I'm going to cover in today's video. James Harden started his career in Oklahoma City alongside former teammates Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook. Although he only started 7 games in his 3-year stint with OKC, Harden was one of the best bench scorers in the league. He was a good 3-point shooter and had a special ability to finish through contact at the rim. In Harden's final season in OKC, which happened to be the year the team made the finals, he was named the 6th man of the year, averaging 16 points off the bench, shooting almost 50% from the field and 40% from 3. Harden was torching every second unit in the league, and this is when many people began to become scared that Harden was coming into his own and could add to the absurd talent OKC already had with KD and Russ. But there was only one thing stopping this from happening: the NBA luxury tax. For those who don't know the luxury tax, it allows teams to pay money for exceeding the salary cap. At the time, if the Thunder were to sign Harden to a max contract worth $60 million over 4 years, the team would have to pay the luxury tax for multiple seasons after. OKC, being a small market team with limited revenue opposed to larger franchises around the league like the Knicks and Lakers, decided to trade Harden before he left in free agency the next season for nothing. This is where the bidding war for Harden eventually started. He was seen by many teams around the league as a franchise player and could further improve from his days in OKC with the ball in his hands more often. There were multiple teams that could have landed Harden before the Rockets eventually did. It was rumored that the first call Thunder GM Sam Presti took for Harden was one that involved the Golden State Warriors, in a trade that would send Klay Thompson to OKC and James Harden to Golden State. Other teams like the Wizards, Suns, Raptors, Jazz, and Celtics all had offers in for Harden at the time, but they eventually fell through. After being traded to Houston, Harden wanted to take things into his own hands and try and lead a team to a championship as the #1 option instead of the 6th man. It was in his Houston Rockets debut that James Harden put himself on the map as one of the best players in the NBA. First game of the 2012 season, and the Rockets are taking on the Detroit Pistons. James Harden comes out on fire, scoring 19 points in the first half, but the Pistons lead going into the second half. This is where Harden's legacy is eventually born. Not only does he continue to score at will after halftime, but he also sets up his teammates for open looks. Harden would eventually finish this game with 37 points and 12 assists en route to a win. Now, people always knew that the James Harden before he was traded to Houston was one of the best scorers at his position. But what he showed in this game was the ability to play as the primary ball handler on offense, something he never got the chance to do in OKC. This was James Harden's coming out party as one of the league's best players and a future league MVP. And nobody even blinked an eye. In fact, these are all of the accolades that James Harden has collected since this game in 2012. Although he hasn't won a championship, Harden has led the Rockets to over 40 wins in each season since being traded and has made the playoffs every single year. Who would have thought that he would become a league MVP and the only player to average over 36 points in a season since the great Wilt Chamberlain? And that's the video, guys. If you enjoyed, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for future content just like this, and I hope to see you guys in the next one.